While we were discussing this chapter, there were a lot of questions that you asked related to the Mongolian Empire, the original Mongolian Empire. So I found out a video for you which I think you might find interesting, and it is about the rise and the fall of the Mongolian Empire. So it is not directly related to a chapter, but I think that it will satisfy your curiosity and entertain you a little. So I'm just going to present it to you now, and if there are anything that you wish to ask about it, just keep it written down somewhere, and I will answer it later on. It's okay, beta. Well, from my side, it appears fine. Please just rejoin the meeting if there is any problem.
It was
Yes.
the largest contiguous land empire in history, stretching from Korea to Ukraine and from Siberia to southern China, and was forged on the open plains. In the 12th century CE, before the Mongol Empire formed, the East Asian steppe was home to scattered groups of Mongol and Turkic pastoral nomads led by Khans. The people herded sheep, cattle, yaks, and camels. They lived in felt tents and moved between summer and winter campsites. Nomadic women held significant authority, managing these migrations, many of the flocks, and trade. Meanwhile, men specialized in mounted warfare. These nomadic groups often fought each other. That was to change under Temujin, who was born into an aristocratic Mongol family. Despite losing his father at an early age and growing up in poverty, he quickly rose to power by forging strategic alliances with other leaders. Unlike those Khans, Temujin promoted soldiers based on merit and distributed spoils evenly among them. His most brilliant move was to scatter the nomads he conquered among his own soldiers so they couldn't join together against him. These innovations made him unstoppable, and by 1206 he had united the people of the felt wall tents and become Chinggis Khan. The Mongols were shamanists, believing that the spirits of nature and their ancestors inhabited the world around them. Over all arched the sky god Tengiri. Chinggis Khan believed that Tengiri wanted him to conquer the entire world in his name. With the nomads of the Mongolian plain united, this seemed within reach. Anyone who resisted the Mongols was resisting Tengiri's will, and for this insubordination had to die. Under Chinggis Khan, the Mongols first subdued northern China and the eastern Islamic lands. After his death in 1227, the divine mandate passed to his family, or the Golden Lineage. In the 1230s, Chinggis Khan's sons and daughters conquered the Turks of Central Asia and the Russian princes, then destroyed two European armies in 1241. In the 1250s, the Mongols seized Islamic territory as far as Baghdad, while in the east, their grasp reached southern China by 1279. Life within the Mongol Empire wasn't just war, pillage, and destruction. Once the Mongols conquered a territory, they left its internal politics alone and used local administrators to govern for them. The Mongols let all religions flourish, as long as the leaders prayed for them. Although they routinely captured artisans, scholars, and engineers, they appreciated what those specialists could do and forcibly settled them across Asia to continue their work. The most valuable produce in the empire was gold brocade, which took silk from China, gold from Tibet, and weavers from Baghdad. Gold brocade clothed the Mongol rulers, covered their horses, and lined their tents. The Mongols particularly prized gunpowder technicians from China. With much of Eurasia politically unified, trade flourished along the Silk Road, helped by an extensive system of horse messengers and relay posts. Robust trade continued at sea, especially in blue and white porcelain, which combined white pottery from Mongol China with blue dye from Mongol Iran. But this was not to last. Succession to the great Khan didn't automatically go to the eldest son, but rather allowed brothers, uncles, and cousins to vie for leadership, with senior widows acting as regents for their sons. By the 1260s, Chinggis Khan's grandsons were in a full-blown civil war over inheritance and fragmented the realm into 4 separate empires. In China, Kublai Khan's Yuan dynasty is remembered as a golden age of science and culture. In Iran, the Ilkhanate inaugurated the development of new monumental architecture and Persian miniature painting. In Central Asia, the Chagatai Khanate brought forth leaders like Timur and his descendant Babur, who founded the Mughal Empire in India. And in Eastern Europe, the Golden Horde ruled for years, until a trading post named Muscovy grew into a major world power. Even though the empire lasted only a short while, the Mongols left a legacy of world domination that remains unmatched today. Trace the rise and fall of other powerful empires with this playlist.
Just give me 1 minute. Tingiri, I think it is a place. And why means that you are competing with somebody to achieve something. Not Genghis Khan's sons, but yes, the Kublai Khan and his generation definitely fought very badly for the Khanate that they had. Because at that time they were elected leaders by other people. जब कुबलाई खान को बनाया था, then also it was a challenge. They had a little misunderstandings when Kublai Khan started, when Kublai Khan established his dynasty in China, then it became a do or die situation, and he had lost a lot of power among his horde. कोई बात नहीं, you can review whatever you have not seen in the video. So let's go back to what we were doing and our Mughal Empire. We were going to do the administration of empire, and let's see how the administration was during the. Yes, he was.
Mughal Emperor Akbar was known for his efficient and elaborate system of administration. Here is a scene from Emperor Akbar's period. Explore the elements. Akbar was a Mughal emperor who ruled a large part of the Indian subcontinent from 1556 to 1605. Let's take a look at the administrative policies that helped Akbar to maintain stability and peace in his empire. Much of the information about Akbar comes from the Akbar Nama, a 3-volume book written by Abul Fazl. The last volume of the Akbar Nama, called the Ain-e-Akbari, provides information on the emperor's administrative policies. Apart from the Mansabdari system used by many Mughal emperors, Akbar's administrative system had further well-defined roles and functions. Akbar's empire was divided into 15 provinces called Suba. Each Suba was governed by a Subedar. He carried out both political and military functions. He was responsible for maintaining peace and order in his Suba. He was helped by other officers like the Diwan, who was the financial officer of the Suba. The Diwan was the head of the revenue department in his Suba. The Faujdar was the military commander. He was responsible for the protection of his Suba. The Bakshi was the military paymaster. Sadr was the minister in charge of religious and charitable patronage. And the Kotwal was the police commander. He maintained law and order in his Suba. Thus, several officers worked together to run a Suba smoothly. Unlike other Mughal emperors, Akbar respected and encouraged all religions. At his Ibadat Khana in Fatehpur Sikri, priests and scholars from various religions were invited to discuss and debate on religious matters. Over time, Akbar increasingly promoted the idea of Sul-e-Kul, or universal peace. Through the concept of Sul-e-Kul, he strongly encouraged religious tolerance. On the basis of Sul-e-Kul, Akbar even tried to form a new faith called Deen-e-Ilahi, or divine faith, which combined major principles from different religions. Akbar also abolished unfair taxes payable by non-Muslims such as jizya and pilgrim tax. Due to these policies, which were based on harmony and equality of different religions, Akbar was given the title of Akbar the Great. Think about this and discuss.
There is not an exact record as of right now, and it is not important for you, but there were many. Who was the last Mughal emperor? Ruko ek minute, I'll just show you the tree. Babur, Humayun, Akbar, Jahangir, Shah Jahan, Then there was Alamgir, which was also known as Aurangzeb. Then there was Bahadur Shah, Jahandar Shah, Farokh Siyar, रफ़ी उद्दराजत. अब इनका तुम ना रेन देख लो कितना कम है. इसका 48 ईयर्स था, औरंगजेब का, बहादुर शाह का ऑलमोस्ट 4 ईयर्स, इसका पूरा 1 साल भी नहीं जहंदर शाह का, फरुख सियार का ऑलमोस्ट 6 ईयर्स, रफ़ी उद जजारत 98 days, Shah Jahan 205 days. Then there was Muhammad Shah, who was useless completely, although he ruled for 28 years. Then there was Ahmad Shah, ruled for 37 days. There was Alamgir II, ruled for 5 years. Shah Jahan III for 282 days. Shah Alam II, 46 years, but he was also useless, and he was the one who was defeated in the Battle of Buxar, जो हम क्लास 8th में पढ़ेंगे. Then there was Muhammad Shah Bahadur Jahan for 63 days. Then there was Akbar Shah too, another weak ruler. He was only a titular figurehead. Then there was Bahadur Shah too. Although he ruled for 19 years, he was very old by the time he was deposed and killed. And after Bahadur Shah, all of his descendants, all of his male children, they were killed by the Britishers to end the Mughal dynasty. I hope that satisfies your curiosity of how many Mughal emperors were there, but they were not important because they did not do anything significant. वो केवल नाम के एम्पायर थे, एम्परर थे. Okay, so I think it satisfies your curiosity. बेटा बिकॉज व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट पॉलिटिक्स, पॉलिटिक्स कैसे चलती है कि पावर को होल्ड ऑन करना पड़ता है, लेकिन आफ्टर औरंगजेब डाइड दीज रूलर्स दे वर नॉट स्ट्रॉन्ग इनफ टू होल्ड पावर ऑन देयर ओन. ये अपनी पावर कैसे होल्ड कर रहे थे? इनको ना कंफर्ट चाहिए था, इनको लग्जरी चाहिए थी, इनसे ना रूल नहीं हो पा रहा था. तो इनके जो नोबल्स थे दे यूज्ड टू रूल. धीरे धीरे करके मुगल एम्पायर अपनी पूरी पावर खोता गया. नोबल्स जो थे वो अपना पोर्शन अलग करते गए, केवल नाम के लिए मुगल एम्पायर का पार्ट रहे, लेकिन सब अपना अलग अलग एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन चलाने लग गए. और जैसे ही एम्परर उनके अगेंस्ट कुछ बोलता था, द एम्परर वर डिपोज्ड और किल्ड एट टाइम्स. यू नेवर नो, क्योंकि वो ऐसा टाइम था कि जब आप ऑटोप्सी तो कर नहीं कर सकते थे. They could not continue their rule in Maharashtra. ऐसा नहीं है. They tried to rule it. They won a lot of places, but they could not consolidate the place because Maratha Empire was seen as a strong empire. Vipul, mic बंद रखो please. Any other question? Then there are some more things left in the chapter. Let's finish that also.
मैम
मैम मत किया करो, चैट बॉक्स में कुछ लिखा करो, फिर मैं बोलूंगी. बोलो जो भी है. क्या है?
तानाजी वॉज अ सूबेदार.
बेटा 1 मिनट, तुम जस्ट होल्ड ऑन अ मिनट. मैं पहले तुम्हारा वीडियो हो जाए, उसके बाद आई विल डू दैट. Just give me a minute. There seems to be a problem. I will be back. Am I audible? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
I think that it has crashed.
Yes, ma'am.
And my laptop crashed also. Let's just try once more if it is gonna work, and if it is not, then we will move ahead and do something else. Okay, so this is another point which is just for your entertainment. Do not go in too much in depth for this one, okay?
Look at the images on your screen. Do you recognize these rulers? What is common between them all? These are images of great monarchs that were near contemporaries. They ruled in different parts of the world around the same time in the 16th century. Ivan the Terrible ruled over Russia in the 16th century. Under his rule, the empire expanded from being a medieval state to a regional empire. Queen Elizabeth I was the ruler of England in the late 16th century. Her reign was known as the Elizabethan era and was known for the development of English drama. Akbar was one of the greatest Mughal rulers that ruled the Indian subcontinent. Under his reign, not only did the power and wealth of the kingdom expand, but it also saw many political and social reforms. Sultan Suleiman was the most prominent ruler of the Ottoman Empire. He ruled between 1520 to 1566. His rule lasted for 46 long years. Let us learn more about his reign. Sultan Suleiman was a prominent ruler of the Ottoman Empire in the 16th century. Under Sultan Suleiman, the Ottoman Empire expanded into Europe, seizing Hungary and besieging Austria. His armies seized Baghdad, thus conquering Iraq. His authority was accepted even in parts of North Africa, all the way into Morocco. Sultan Suleiman also reconstructed the Ottoman navy. Its domination over the eastern Mediterranean brought the navy into competition with Spain. In the Atlantic Ocean, it challenged the Portuguese. Under his rule, the navy dominated the seas from Mediterranean Sea to the Red Sea right up to the Persian Gulf. The Sultan was given the title of Al-Qanuni, or the lawgiver, because of the large number of regulations or qanun passed during his reign. These laws were aimed specifically to protect the peasants from forced labor and extraordinary taxes. The capital of the Ottoman Empire, Constantinople, reached new architectural heights and beauty under his reign. Because of the artistic, literary and architectural developments under his reign, the period is referred to as the Golden Period of the Ottoman Empire. Thus, he was commonly called Suleiman the Magnificent in the west and the Lawgiver in the east. Sultan Suleiman and Akbar were contemporaries. Let us see what is common between the rules of these great rulers. One common aspect between the reign of Sultan Suleiman and Akbar was they both ruled for over 4 decades. During Sultan Suleiman's rule, much of North Africa, all the way into Morocco, acknowledged the authority of the Ottoman monarch. Akbar enlarged the Mughal Empire to cover nearly the whole of the Indian subcontinent north of the Godavari River. Both Sultan Suleiman and Akbar exhibited great naval and military prowess that helped them to expand their kingdoms. Sultan Suleiman reconstructed the Ottoman navy. His navy was considered a formidable match by nations adjoining the Mediterranean Sea. The basis of military prowess and authority of Akbar was his skillful structural and organizational calibration of the Mughal army. Sultan Suleiman and Akbar were sensitive to the needs of their citizens. Sultan Suleiman passed laws to protect the interest of the peasants. Akbar abolished the famous Jizya tax levied on Hindus. Thus, we can conclude that a lot was common between the two emperors. The period of history under their rule was termed as the Golden Period, both for the Ottoman Empire and the Mughal Empire. The capital of Ottoman Empire, Constantinople, reached dash under the reign of Sultan Suleiman. Select the correct option and click Submit.
The Portugals came here and established their settlement in around the time Vasco da Gama came. Let me see the exact year. Just 1 minute. Vasco da Gama reached India in 1498 and after some time after that. There was no great ruler. They were all just trying to, assert their authority somehow and just stay in the empire. They did not do anything great. वो धीरे धीरे करके अपना empire डुबाते ही चले गए. Yes, sir. You want to say something, Shashank? Okay, so I will close the session for today and that will conclude the chapter. In the next class, we will discuss the question answers. So be ready with the question answers for me, okay? So that will be all. No, nobody expanded the empire. They only disintegrated the empire. They could not do anything well. So that will be all. Thank you and Sairam. Please start doing the question answers.